Hey, Johnny, good to see you.
Hey, how are you doing, man? How's it
Very good.
going?
Yeah, really good. Before we start,
It's great to see you.
it is you too, but I can't help noticing you wearing an Iron Mike Tyson t-shirt,
Uh, yeah.
which is great.
Check it out. Check it out. Iron Mike Tyson, Brooklyn.
Wow.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
So let me guess, you're now Iron Mike's biggest fan.
I wouldn't. I think that's an extreme that even Evil Knievel wouldn't have jumped it. You know, even Evil Knievel would have said, "No, that's not a jump I'm going to make." But I am Iron Mike Tyson's. I am a fan of this T-shirt.
It's a nice shirt,
and it is a nice shirt. But no. What has happened here? I got this recently, about a week ago, and I don't know where it came from. It arrived in a little bag.
You serious?
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. This arrived to me in a bag. And it's a package.
Sorry, Johnny. You ask why are you kidding? It's quite strange that somebody would send you a T-shirt. But carry on.
Yeah, it is a Mike Tyson T-shirt. I mean, it's not like I can't stand Mike Tyson, but the thing is, it's pretty known that Mike Tyson, among all the people that would send me things, it's pretty known that I don't rate Mike Tyson highly.
Right.
You know, among all-time heavyweights. And but he was an exciting fighter, but I never rated him highly. However, I got this T-shirt, and it was mailed in a package, no name, no return address, nothing, just my address on it, and it came with with the name of the place that manufactured it, but nothing else. And I'm like, what's going on here? What is this? What is this? You know, hoping, maybe it's a Valentine's gift. Maybe I have some female admirer out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, or maybe not female, but what is the and you genuinely have no idea who that's from?
No, I don't know who it's from.
I promise you it wasn't me.
Okay, well, that's one down.
So yeah.
Okay, so David's out. Let me get the list. David's out.
So, any prime suspects?
All I could think of is that somebody must have been watching, but I was vocal about Mike Tyson being the most overrated heavyweight in history. I was pretty vocal about that. Okay, and I didn't go too off on it, but I was very clear that there was nobody that was as overrated. However, not long after that, I guess 3 weeks after that video, well, no, it's actually longer than 3 weeks after. But anyway, I got this, and I opened it up. I had no idea what it was. I got the scissors. I'm cutting. I said, what the heck is this? And I opened it up, and this T-shirt is in it with no letter, no nothing. And all I could think of is it's got to be somebody on Twitter.
That's hilarious.
That is having fun and knows that I don't think really hardly Mike Tyson. But then I'm thinking I never spoke to anybody. Nobody knows my address.
But I can't really tell. But it looks like it's not a cheap shirt. It looks like quite a
it's a terrific shirt. It's got it's got pull to it, and it's not cheap at all.
It's very nice.
It's a really, really nice T-shirt.
I really
and
like
it. Sent it. I appreciate it. And
well, look.
I think it's one of the great practical jokes. I'd like to know who did it.
Well,
it's a great practical joke as a way of needling me for not, rating Mike Tyson very highly among all-time heavyweights. But it's a great way of needling me, and it's funny, and I think it's great. But I don't know where the T-shirt came from.
I would love to know if
no letter, no, and I'm looking in there and nothing, and I'm knowing it can't be anybody I know, because if they were going to do this, they would have. So it's got to be somebody who's having, just for fun. I think it's a great sense of humor. It's a great practical joke. I'd love to know who did it.
But it's really interesting when somebody would do a practical joke like that and not share in the humor of it, to keep it anonymous. So hopefully somebody will see that, will get your latest Tyson updates on this video and will give us some clues in the comments. Maybe that will happen.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know who sent it. Just for the fact, first of all, I appreciate it. Second of all, I think it's a hysterically funny practical joke. Thirdly, I think that it's a really nice shirt, and the person has got to, whoever sent it. I mean, it's still a friendly thing, even if they're just like busting my chops about it. I bust my chops with my friends all the time. They like fighters. They don't like fighters. We go at each other all the time.
It's crazy.
But I have no idea. I'm surprised. Am I clear enough? You can't see that. Obviously, you did see it, Mike Tyson.
Yeah. No, that's great.
But I don't. I have no idea. I have a list of suspects.
Oh, okay. Well,
a list of maybe 10 suspects, and the only people I could think of they got to be Twitter people and people that have conversations with Mike Tyson about.
Are they UK or US?
I think the majority would be UK.
Oh, interesting. Controversial. Okay. Right. Well, let's see. We'll try and crack that case. That's a fascinating one. Somebody's got to share it.
We need Sherlock Holmes. He was UK, wasn't he?
Very much so. Very much so.
He was no Larry Holmes, but he had his own place.
Yeah. So on that, Sherlock Holmes, I know there's been one or two. You've seen one. I think since we've been discussing the sort of UK US boxing stuff, there's a few things that I see on your Twitter that I don't understand, and there's a few things that you see on my Twitter that you don't understand.
Right.
And wasn't the one quite recently that I had to translate as if it was it could have been Italian?
Yeah, there was. I actually wrote it down because it really was like translating, and there was one thing, the expression "make." I mean, I feel like this is funny. We're talking we communicate so well, but there are differences in phraseology. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, one was "make fool him," make fool him.
Yeah, so that's interesting because
a couple of bolts missing.
Yeah.
Expressions.
A couple of bolts missing. I don't know that one, but I think that means it's the same as not the sharpest tool in the box.
Oh yeah, not the sharpest tool, not the he's not playing with a full deck.
100%.
That's what we call it, for.
So in the UK, we've probably got about 50 versions of that same thing. A couple cans short of a 6-pack, a few sandwiches short of a picnic, anything like that works. And the first one,
a couple of cans short of a 6-pack.
Yeah, but the first one I think is it's really unusual. It's more fool him, and that means I don't even know how to describe that one. If you say more fool him, it means he's making a decision that is to the detriment of him. So he should know better. He's saying something that he thinks is for his own good, but it's actually to the detriment of him. More fool him.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that would be.
I mean, I needed the translation. The other one, couple of bolts missing. Okay, we got what that was. The expression I wanted to ask you about is if you knew about I'll be here with bells on. No, because there's things I want to we talk online, we DM and stuff, and sometimes I'm thinking I want to write something, but is this translatable there?
Yeah.
But I'll be here with bells on. Is that a English phrase that?
Yeah, that means you're really keen for something, you're looking forward to it. Yeah, exactly. And we've got a few versions of that as well, but that one works definitely.
We might need to get a higher Alexander Usyk's translator to come in for occasional things here.
Well, I know we can't use this on this video, but I know you assumed one of our earlier conversations. You assumed everyone spoke like Enzo Macronelli, who's quite liberal with the C word, and not everyone in the UK is liberal with the C word. I don't think you'll ever hear me use the C word, so that's definitely. I think that's yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That was one of the things I did notice about a lot of the UK comments was I would just see very casually, like
yeah,
like, well, you're a proper C word.
yeah. I was worried you were going to give examples.
What?
I was worried you were going to give some real examples there.
No, I won't give. No. I don't know. Like in America, we don't use. We really stay away from that.
Yeah,
but
no.
but I did notice in the UK that it did seem like it's more common there.
So okay, look, I think that was a hell of a diversion, but that Mike Tyson shirt had to be discussed. I wanted to obviously talk about the Last Crescendo. We've got it in.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great.
But just before we get into that, another thing over the weekend was the Catterall fight. I've not seen it all. I did see the knockdown, and I think that was a fight that Catterall could have won. That knockdown, I am so divided about whether that was a knockdown or not. And everyone is adamant, yes, it was. No, it wasn't. Right. What's your thought on that, Johnny? Did you think that was a knockdown?
Yeah. I thought it was a knockdown based on the fact that the power behind the punch from Catterall sent the guy going back. And I think there was enough power there that I didn't see a trip. I wasn't able to, see a trip. I think most people online seem to think it was. I didn't see a trip. I'm trying to give every benefit of the doubt to the referee. But in looking at it, I just think the power was enough that drove him back. That if he tripped, he was still, I think, going to go down anyway.
Well, there was definitely their feet definitely tangled.
Yeah.
I think in favor of the knockdown is that if just their feet had tangled, I think Barbosa would have managed to stay on his feet. The fact that he didn't was a result of the punch. Whether that was helped by the feet tangling or not, it was still a punch. So yeah, I'm sort of 51% in the camp of that was a knockdown.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because feet can tangle, it can make somebody fall. But if it's from a punch that the person clearly has an extreme reaction to,
yeah,
but we don't know if he's going to fall or just go back. But the punch affected him, falls over the feet. But I didn't see him fall over the feet. But even if he did, I just in my own opinion, I think things like that. I think they should be ruled a knockdown. If a guy's going back from a punch and then there's a trip, but he's going back, I don't know. It's a tough call. But yeah, I thought it was a knockdown. So, but I'm probably 60-40 on it because you can't really see the foot position. Yeah. But I thought it was a knockdown, and I thought as the champion, it was a very quick call by the referee.
Yeah, it was.
He noticed something that nobody saw, which was just odd to me. It was something odd because Catterall's from the UK, but I don't know how popular he is there. I mean, you would know better than me. I mean, but that fight seemed a little. I don't think it was a robbery by no means, but I do think that call and. The scorecards, it's such a close fight to take the championship away from somebody in something that could go one way or the other. It was pretty strict, unless they were just awarding activity. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought he was very unlucky, but I think he will be kicking himself that he didn't do more because that was a winnable fight. And I think his popularity. So I love watching Jack Catterall. I really do. I always have done. And and he's incredibly popular locally, definitely. But I think he does get accusations of sort of just not doing enough, not being active enough in the ring. So be it. People like different styles of fighters. But he's done a great send-up recently. People think he's boring. He's done a great send-up of a video of him showing like what he really is like as a professional fighter, while sort of joking, self-deprecating humor that he's really boring. And I'm a big fan of him. I was sad to see him.
I was too. I like Jack Catterall a lot, and I feel the same way as you. Like he's and he was a class act after losing, and you don't see that often. I mean, we've seen some. Tyson Fury didn't have quite the class Catterall did after his last loss.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
But I thought he handled it really, really well for such a to have a title taken away the way it was. But again, it was a very close fight. Could have gone either way.
I'm sure he'll be back. Okay, cool. So I mean, obviously the 22nd of February is going to be huge. Now we're doing something a bit differently for this card because normally we'll do a deep dive and we will really have a strong opinion about at least one of these fights. But correct me if I'm wrong. Off the set, we're going to talk about the 7 fights. I think there's more than 7 on the card, but the 7 televised fights throughout the card. I think the opinions are so divided. It's fantastic. Yeah. When I'm trying to find my picks and find the value, I'm going in circles. It's actually one of the cards where there are so many quality fights. I haven't actually had time to do the full analysis that I would want to do on all the fights. So I've got some crazy ideas for how I'll be playing it personally for some fun bets, and I've got 1 or 2 serious bets that I'm having on it.
I'm afraid the table is shaking. So yeah, well, there's got to be bets placed, but this is not anything I'm really going to load up on any one bet. I will probably try to do parlays in some kind of just a wild Hail Mary parlays.
So
these fights could all go different ways.
On that, okay. So my first Hail Mary parlay accumulator in the UK is I am backing, and we'll discuss this, and you'll change my mind as we discuss these. People have already tried to change my mind since I put it out there. I'm backing every one of the main 7 fights to go the distance. All 7 fights to go the distance. That is around 50 to 1. I would want more than 50 to 1. I think it should be more than 50 to 1. But I'm going to have a small bet on that just for the fun. Someone did message me today, shout out, and he made a really good point that in Saudi, he thinks, this isn't backed up by data, he thinks that the lack of atmosphere there is correlates to fewer stoppages. More fights go the distance when there's less atmosphere. So I think that's something really
interesting.
That's
interesting. Because they don't get very, they get the greatest cause that they don't. There's not a lot of excitement.
Exactly.
That doesn't seem
excitement, and like it's not backed up by data or science, but I like the theory. So so that's my first Hail Mary. All 7 fights to go the distance. I know you're not in agreement with that, but
I would say that on a card like this with fights that are so evenly divided, for the payoff for the investment, that's worth it, because I think that's a good bet. You want action on the fight. None of us want to not have action for the fight, but it's very hard with fights that are all so close they could go either way.
Yeah,
and but I think that that's a possibility. And you know what? You got to bet it. You know why? Because if it happens, you got to be kicking yourself.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. I've said it. So I've got to do it. No question about it now. I was going to take one of them out and say I was going to have 6 to go the distance and 1 stoppage. I was like, no, can't do that. I'm going all anyway. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to go up through the card quickly? We'll spend more on some and quickly on others. But should we start with Caballal and Zhang?
Let's start. Let's go like in kind of like order. I guess I don't know. For me, I mean, I'm fine with what you like. Caballal and Zhang.
Let's do it. We start at the bottom. I think that's the first up. Who knows? Okay. But yeah, Zhang Caballal. So
thoughts.
For me, one bookmaker in the UK had Caballal as a 7-4 outsider, nearly 2-1 outsider 2 months ago. So we put that out in our original article. That was a good bet. He's now favourite, and for me, this is a 50-50 fight, and the basis for that bet was that he should not be such a big outsider. Now, has he moved too far the other way that actually Zhang is now the value? But I'm sticking with Caballal on that one.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. They had it like they had Zhang at, what was Zhang, like 2-5? I mean, he was like not even money at the beginning, right?
Zhang was like, so Zhang would have been like 1-3. Caballero was like nearly 2-1.
Oh wow! Oh wow! For people that like Caballero, that was the time to strike.
Yeah,
you know.
And and so now again, shout out to someone on Twitter wrote to me today, said that he got on that 7-4, and he's now going the other way. He's gonna back Zhang now,
right?
Because the market's moved so much. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty smart. I like that. But so for me, the big thing about Zhang, I've always being that old, I know he's 40 or 41, but the combination of that much bulk, I know he's coming in a bit lighter, but that much bulk at that age, I think you've got an incredible stat about his performance in the final third of 12-round fights.
Well, he doesn't win the 10th, 11th, and 12th rounds. He doesn't win them. He slows down he literally, on paper, slows down at the end of the fights.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't win the rounds at the end of the fights.
Yeah.
And if somebody the whole thing is, if somebody gets through the early rounds with him, they stand a very good chance of winning. He's had 4 decisions. He's lost 3. The one he won was early in his career, but the ones that he lost were 2 12-rounders. Was Hagovic and Joseph Parker, yeah. But he lost all the last rounds, yeah. And I think that's a major thing to think about. If somebody could survive, I would play. If I was training Caballero, I would say we got to get through the first 8 or 9 rounds and then sail through. Yeah. So I could see. I don't want to straddle the fence on this. I will give you my pick, but I could see the rationality behind doing that with Zhang if he cannot get caught. Yeah. We can't assume because Parker didn't get caught that Caballero won't. We don't know if Caballero has the same jaw as Parker.
Yeah,
Parker went down twice. Parker's jaw is not world class.
Yeah,
and Parker has it's not bad. It's a good jaw, but he's been put down and he's been knocked out. And in this particular case with Caballero, I just think he's unproven. He's been around a long time. He beat Derek Chisora 7.5 years ago. Where has he been? What has he been doing in all that time that he hasn't made any noise?
Yeah.
And he still hasn't made noise. He hasn't beat anybody.
Yeah.
He fought one southpaw and he knocked him out in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
And the guy was not a puncher, and he's only had 5 amateur fights. I have a lot of questions about Caballero. It doesn't mean that, again, I'm 50-50 on these fights, basically. I'm just taking sides here, trying to figure it out for fun. Okay. And for me, Caballero is kind of like, he's just not proven. And I don't think he's on Parker's level, or has proven to be on Parker's level.
Fair.
So
okay,
that's my thought. I don't think he's got to extend it. I think he's going to get caught. I think he's going to get caught.
Okay. So we invited like a dozen or so of our sort of sharp betting insiders to do a poll on the whole card. And so we've got Zhang got 30% of the vote so far. We'll update it every day in fight week, but Zhang got 30% of the vote for that fight, only 30%, and 70% think it's going to end in stoppage as well.
Okay, so the stoppage is one of the things. The thing is, for me, the last thing to go on a fighter, I think a lot of people are thinking of Zhang's age, and there's reason to. But Zhang's upper body is fast. It's not miraculously fast. He's not Sugar Ray Leonard or Ali, but his upper body is a lot faster than he's given credit for. But you go below those shoulders, and honestly, he could be using a walker in the ring. God forbid,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of questions about that part of him. But the last thing to go on a boxer is that jaw and that punch.
Yeah.
And so I give Zhang, a lot for that. And also, if Zhang is going to be, if people are going to rate Parker in his fight against Dubois, or his fight with Zhang, his victories, his two resurgent victories, Wilder and Zhang, if they're going to credit Parker with his victory over Zhang, then we have to look at Zhang that he's quality if we're going to rate Parker against, Dubois. And if Zhang's quality, then I think we have to question, why he isn't considered quality against Caballero. So I think, Zhang has had a long amateur career. He started late. I don't think he's absorbed a lot of damage in the pros.
Yeah.
If he comes in shape, it's a guess. My pick for fun here would be Zhang. I think he gets the stoppage. Could be a knockout. He could extend it by knocking Caballero down a few times and Caballero lasting. I think he's going to get the stoppage. I haven't seen Caballero tested yet. So that's my reason for that.
Okay, nice one. So next one up is this is the most lopsided of the poll results that we've had so far. It's Buatsi v. Callum Smith, and 90% of the votes think this is going the distance. Okay, so
Callum Smith and did you say
Buatsi.
Callum Smith and Buatsi?
Yeah, and the odds you get are very short. It's 1.4, so minus 250 to go the distance. So that's not a very interesting sounding bet to me, although it's going in my Hail Mary. But so 90% of our votes think this is going the distance, and 60% have voted for Buatsi. I think that
makes sense. I think Smith has proven himself. He's fought Beterbiev, and fought Canelo. He went 12 with Canelo. He got knocked out by TKO'd by Beterbiev. He's not that old. I think Buatsi is the guy on the way up, though.
Yeah.
And he beat Willie Hutchinson, and he beat. I think it was a distance fight with Willie Hutchinson, and Willie Hutchinson is a guy that he's a tricky fighter.
Yeah.
He took his fight. He has his power carries late. I think Daniel Aziz in round 11 he beat.
Yeah. Okay.
They're both aggressive. He's a boxer puncher, but he's more of a puncher. I think it could be really interesting. But his power can't carry Buatsi's. I would lean towards the distance in this one, but I'd go with what your guys go with, Buatsi or with Callum Smith. What about you?
Yeah, same. I think if I was going to really focus on doing some parlays and just picking a couple, Buatsi on points would probably be one that made the grade for me there. Buatsi to win a decision is 2.25. So you're just getting plus money. Again, it's not a great payout, but yeah, I would pick that in isolation if I was going to.
One thing I want to mention to you. So, okay, I hear you with that. Yeah, good. So we like that. One of the things about Callum Smith that struck me odd is that after the Beterbiev fight, he took a fight for 8 rounds against a journeyman who had 20 wins and 14 losses.
Right.
And I'm like, why? Is it psychological? Are you trying to build him up again after getting TKO'd by Beterbiev? Or is there a reason you're putting him in an 8-round fight against the guy who's 20 and 14? And I don't remember the guy's name, but it struck me odd. He was in an 8-round fight after that. And so to me, in looking at this fight, just to reiterate, Buatsi winning. For me, in looking at this fight, I'm looking at a guy whose last fight, in my opinion, was really Beterbiev, and it was a TKO loss.
Well, Callum Smith is a guy who I think more so than many active fighters, that before his defeat to Alvarez and after, how I viewed his potential couldn't be more different. Like, I think before that fight, I sort of overestimated him, and after that fight, I kind of underestimate him, and that's probably doing a lot of the logic behind this feeling that Buatsi on points for me there.
But he's coming off. Don't forget that TKO by Beterbiev Then he got a complete gift, 2014 fighter and an 8-rounder. So he still could that have done enough to build his confidence? I don't know. I don't think so. I just think he's coming off still in his mind that 7.5 with Beterbiev. That doesn't mean I think he's going to get knocked out, but I think Buatsi has the potential to knock him out. But gun to head, 50-50 fight. Yeah. I'm going with Buatsi, like by decision too.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think that one not too controversial on Buatsi v Smith. If Smith pulls it off, good on him, but we'll see. So then he's up. Ortiz v Madrimov. I haven't done enough research for this one. Straight off, I'm thinking Ortiz has got enough to get a decision. From what I've seen, which is not that much of both of them, that would be my play.
Ortiz by decision?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we differ on this one. I got to go Madrimov. I'm actually even thinking, I've gone back and forth on this. I'm really thinking he might stop Ortiz. I think Ortiz has had I thought Bohachuk put him down a couple of times the last fight. That was his first step up. And I didn't like the way he looked in the fight. And he's fought, his opponents have all been oh gosh. His opponents have not been, they've been old or past their prime. They put him in with one southpaw who can't punch. I'm just trying to come up with things I could think of here, but the way I view it is I just think he's had a much easier trip up for his knockouts and his impressive record and stuff. And I think Madrimov, he beat a guy, I don't know his name because I'll pull a muscle saying it, right. Magomed Kabalev or something. He beat him in Riyadh. He beat him very well. The guy had beaten Liam Smith. He had beaten Patrick Teixeira. So he's a southpaw. He's 29. The only other 29-year-old Ortiz fought was in his last fight, and he didn't look that great in it. And I like Madrimov in this, and I think he's going to stop him.
Well, that's interesting. So Ortiz is a slight favorite in the betting. Ortiz is a very slight favorite, but our poll, we've got he's only got 35% of the vote. So 65% are picking Madrimov, your guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
that's interesting. That's interesting. So the favorites are going against what the people are picking. The guys you got are picking.
This is the first time of the three fights where we've got quite a one-sided result of the poll for the underdog. He's a slight underdog, but 35-65 in favor of Madrimov. We've also got 80% think this is going to go the distance, but if you're backing Madrimov at the plus money, then you'll take him.
I'm kind of leaning towards the stoppage in this because I think that I don't think Ortiz is used to getting into the late rounds with a really good fighter. Yeah. He did it with Bohachuk and he lasted, but he went down a couple of times. I think Madrimov is a little more polished. That's what I would go for, just for fun.
Yep, that's a great one. So this is we're now probably sort of 7 p.m., 8 p.m. UK time. We're getting into it. It's like mid-afternoon for you guys.
So I'm living the UK boxing now.
Yep. You're now.
You got to do it here because it's the middle of the afternoon here. I want the UK version.
Yeah. So now we move into this one divides opinion. So is it too soon for Hamza Shiraz? Carlos, I'm going to say Adames. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Adames. Yeah. I'm hearing great things about him in training. He means business. Is it too soon for Shiraz? Shiraz is a massive favorite, 3-1 on. Those odds are probably on the skinny side, but perhaps he's going to fulfill his potential on Saturday.
He might fulfill it. I like with Adames. I like his victories over. I like the way he fought Derevchenko because Derevchenko is a tough out for anybody. And Derevchenko's only fought the highest class, and he was a tough out for anybody. And I like his fight with Derevchenko.
Okay.
Derevchenko's a hard puncher. He's got a hard shin, and he gutted it out with him. He really has had his only loss was to Patrick Teixeira, who's a very, very good fighter, and that was his only loss. He hasn't lost since then. He's got a lot of experience. He can take a punch. He can give a punch. So I like Adames for many reasons, and I don't see those reasons in Shiraz. I don't think Shiraz has proved his power can carry, but not against the very highest level. Like he's used to his fights ending early, and he's been in the 9th, the 10th, and 11th round once. He's used to his fights ending early, and I think this is going to be a comeuppance for him. I think Adames is going to win with gun to head. This is not confident. I'm just saying, my thoughts here. The last fighter, I think was Tyler Denny. He TKO'd Tyler Denny. Tyler Denny had 1 KO in 24 fights. I don't think that's a test for a puncher, So when I look at it, I got to go with my gut here. My gut is Adames beats Shiraz. I'm not sure about the result of that. I've gone back and forth on that. Shiraz might make it the distance. I think Adames has the power to get Shiraz out. If he takes Shiraz late, Shiraz isn't really used to it. I'm kind of going with that for fun. Adames.
That's interesting. So
I'm betting none of these on their own, by the way. This is going to go. There's going to be just one big parlay of a couple of things for fun. Yeah. But I'm just giving you my thoughts on, what I think.
Of course, yeah. That's that.
Just like you are. But what are your feelings? Like on that one, are you like?
I don't. I don't know. I'm putting. I'm back. I hate it when you back the potential of a fighter rather than the reality, but that's what I'm doing. I'm backing Shiraz to win a decision.
I can see that.
And but I'm perfectly happy for that to be proved wrong. I don't even think he should be that short, but anyway, he's very short in the betting. But
I know what you mean about betting. Sometimes they call it the eye test, where you're betting somebody with that you see something in, that you think you're seeing something in, and you have to measure them against somebody else who's maybe a little bit more proven, or that's a really hard choice.
So I think I'm caveating my support of Shiraz by saying I think he's going to get a decision, not a stoppage. So he's 1.36 to win at any time, 3-1 on. That's very short odds, but he's 3.2 to win a decision. So that's what I'm going for. And interestingly, in our poll, and these are all very smart boxing people that we've asked.
The Twitter guy. I trust them a lot more than the boxing aspect.
Oh yeah, no, this is, and there's more to come. So these numbers are going to be interesting over the next few days. But right now, we've had a dozen or so people contribute. Adames has only got 30% of the vote, so people are liking Shiraz.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. And so Shiraz
is more on. Okay.
And of all the fights, this is the most likely to end in stoppage. 80% of the vote think this is going to end in a stoppage. So everyone is on the Shiraz hype train for us. So
yeah. I'm going to go with the fight. I believe the fight will end in a stoppage, but I think it's going to. I think Adames is going to pull off the upset. And again, it's fair. I love this being able to say this, knowing I'm not going to put money on it.
No, exactly. It's really.
I love looking at these fights and going through the records and watching them and going through my thoughts and stuff. And I know you did too. We were talking about it.
Well, so the next one is the most one-sided in the betting. It's the only mismatch on paper. It's Shakur Stevenson, Floyd Schofield, and you've got a very short favourite in Shakur Stevenson, obviously. It's a straight in with the poll. We've had 90% support for Shakur and 50-50 in terms of whether it's a decision or stoppage. I'm perfectly happy to pick Stevenson to win a decision there. the odds again are incredibly unattractive at 1.5, which is minus 200 to win a decision. But
I think he's about the same for decision and knockout, isn't he? I think he's close.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't even look at the KO. I just see him as
something. Wait a second. The decision for Stevenson is minus 275, and the distance and the knockout. It looks like it's minus 200.
Right. Okay.
I may have. Oh no. I'm sorry. The distance is minus 275. Not the distance is plus 200.
Exactly. Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean.
Oh, I don't know. I think that those odds are. I think logic dictates what your guys are saying there. It's hard to pick Stevenson by a KO when he has shown no power recently at all.
Yeah.
And Schofield is a good contender. That fight is one of the most interesting. We got a 12-1 favorite in Shakur. Nobody really knows what to expect in that fight from Schofield because I think it's really an interesting fight.
Yeah.
But I'd have to go Shakur distance in that.
Yep. Again, that would be the one. So when I said at the beginning, Buatsi decision, the second fight on the bill, if I was just going to do a few picks, it would be Buatsi decision, and I'd probably add that to Stevenson decision and see what that paid in a double. And if I was not going for my Hail Mary, that would be two of the ones I would take more seriously. But again, yes, Stevenson winning a decision at 1.5 minus 200. Those are very, very untempting odds for people that don't feel strongly about it.
I know, and you never know if Stevenson, because Schofield, I think, was knocked down in his last fight, and Stevenson might be able to, wanting to put on a show in Riyadh. So the knockout is potentially there because Schofield doesn't appear to have enough experience.
Right.
So I think it's going to be really interesting. All these fights, all seven. This fight's going to be interesting.
From what I've seen of Schofield, which is not very much, he seems like a very live dog. I think he will not do enough to win, but he will make a entertaining 12-round fight out of it. That's what I felt from what I saw.
And he might bring out the best in Stevenson to get Stevenson, because Stevenson's lost a lot of, after the De Los Santos fight, Stevenson's lost a lot of respect. I shouldn't say respect, but it seems like fans are not believing him as much. Yeah. And I think now this fight might be the one to bring it out. Schofield looks like it's a little early, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Great.
All of these are going to be interesting.
Oh, it's going to be incredible.
To me, they got to be played in parlays. There's not one of these fights I would load up on my own.
So the top of the bill is where I'm semi-loading up on a couple of things. I'll tell you that when we get to those. But the next one up, if anyone knows what's going to happen between Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker, then good luck to them. So we've got 50-50 down the middle. All the betting money is going on Daniel Dubois in the last week or two. So he started off as strong favourite. He's now even a stronger favourite. Our poll, we've got 50-50. So there's a lot of Parker fans in that poll. And it's only 20.
What did you say? You said that the fans are 50-50 on it?
So
your guys are 50-50?
Yeah, from the 15 we've had 15 or 16 response to our poll from the people we've invited. And
I trust the Twitter people more than Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
These guys
these aren't just Twitter people. These are smart.
I know that. Yeah, we talked about it.
And
I trust them more than the boxing people with. So 50-50. Yeah, that's the way I think the fight 50-50. I think it leans towards Dubois, but we have a few things to talk about on that one.
Yeah. So.
What do you think in that one?
This is the classic one of so many of these fights we talk about resurgences. Okay, it's like who is why do all these fighters need to have resurgences? Why can't they just be good all the time? But like, whose resurgence is the most legitimate out of these two guys? Now, I think of this. So Dubois is what he is a 3-1 on favorite. Okay, he's a not very short. He's expected to get this fight done. Yeah, he's 3-1 on to win. He's expected to get it done in the first 11 rounds. I just feel that the Joshua victory, sensational as it was, has elevated his standing. He is now some sort of crushing machine that's going to dominate the heavyweight division. Usyk's going to retire, and it's Dubois the guy, and that might happen. But I've always been a fan of Joseph Parker. I like everything he does in the ring. I don't think he does anything badly. I think he does everything. It's like every category, he's like a strong B+ grade at it. He's got a good chin.
That's a great description of him, actually.
I've liked him since he fought Andy Ruiz Jr. And I just like everything about him. And he's had a few slip-ups, but I think if this fight was made 2 years ago, I think it would be a 50-50 fight in the betting. I think the betting would reflect the public opinion that this is a 50. I think 50-50. I think this would be a 50-50. Therefore, I find it hard to pick Dubois at those prohibitively short odds. I think Parker's got enough to take it late and steal a decision, but with no confidence. That's my pick.
I love it. We're going back and forth with no confidence on, because that's why the reason why this card is so great is because nobody knows what's going to happen in any of these fights. And but so you like him to, when you say to steal a late decision. What do you mean, to come on in the later rounds?
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I mean, he's got enough to take it late, to get through to get through Dubois' onslaught. A few people have said Dubois is going to come out super aggressive early. Maybe he is. Parker's got enough wherewithal to get through that. Even if he does get a knockdown, he's smart enough to rack up the points, and I think he can get maybe even if it's a split decision. I would take him to cause the upset. I know you've got a great theory about fighters not achieving more than 3 massive upsets in a row.
That's just something that I do. Yeah, 3 fighters that I don't bet fighters. This is just my own thing. I don't bet fighters to win 3 upsets in a row. Like if they upset a fighter, then they win the next one. I find that third one is their Achilles heel.
But but both of them are coming off 2 upsets. Dubois is also coming off Hrgovic and Joshua. So he's coming off 2 upsets. So he's not. Yeah, okay, he's a favorite now. Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay. So how you see this one?
Oh gosh. Well, Dubois. The first thing is I always the 2 biggies are the big ones here. Dubois for me is always somebody that I worry about him quitting. If the going gets hard, and the guy, if Park is confusing him, giving him trouble and everything, I'm sorry, I can't forget he took the knee against Joyce. I can't forget he took the knee against
Kevin Lorena.
Kevin. Kevin
Lorena.
Lorena, and he took the knee against Usyk. That wasn't from a punch. That was him giving up. And I thought it was giving up against Joyce. And I thought he tried to give up against Lorena, except the referee said, no, we want you to win this. That was a very unusual fight. My whole thing is, Dubois has never been involved in his entire life in a decision. Never. He's never been involved in one decision in his life. That means something. It seems like in all his fights, he knocks the guy out or he quits. Now, I've never seen Dubois hurt by a punch, a real punch. I've seen him get grazed and discouraged and look. I mean, Usyk, when he knocked Dubois out, Usyk was hitting Dubois the whole fight. He got knocked out by a jab. Joe Joyce was hitting him the whole fight. Dubois just went down. So I always worry about Dubois for that reason, but I can't imagine Joseph Parker making him quit. But Joseph Parker is going to have to get close enough to Dubois to land the punches. And I'm saying this not from the AJ fight, but Dubois, the fact he's never been in a decision, it tells me he's either going. I know this sounds like fence straddling, but I'm making my pick. But I'm saying if Dubois doesn't quit, I think he beats Parker. I don't think Parker's going to knock him out. I don't think he's going to decision him. I think Dubois is going to have to quit for Parker to win. However, I don't think that's possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the only losses Dubois has had have been from his fragile mindset. And the rest have been knockouts. I don't think his mindset is fragile anymore. When you're dealing with people like this, and you notice you talked about psychology of boxing and stuff before for fun and everything, and you have a background. But the point is, that mindset means a lot. And in this particular fight, I think Dubois' confidence is going to be at a high. Yeah, Joyce's is going to be at a high, but I think it's for the guy with the weak mindset that high is going to give him more than it will give Joyce. Joyce is more grounded than
Parker, not Joyce.
Parker. I'm sorry. I always get these guys. Parker, thank you. Please correct me. I'm liable to say Joyce again. Yeah. Because Parker is a more grounded fighter than Daniel Dubois. So I think that because of that, I don't think this resurgence is something that has built up Parker's confidence level the way it has built up Dubois. Given that, I think that Parker has a questionable chin. Not that it's a bad chin, but it's been questionable. He's been down to twice to Dylan White. He was in the fight with Zhang. He had that fight controlled, but Zhang put him down twice. Yeah. He was KO'd cold by Joe Joyce. So Dubois faster. Dubois can hit harder. As much as Dubois could quit in this fight, this is not fence straddling. My pick is Daniel Dubois by a stoppage victory over Joe Joyce. Mm-hmm. If I was betting the fight, if I can throw this in, if I was betting the fight, I would prefer to bet fight not to go to distance. I think it's minus 185, because it's only minus one. If you're putting it in a parlay, it's minus 185 for the fight not to go to distance. Minus 110 for Daniel Dubois by KO.
Okay.
Just based on Dubois quitting. Otherwise, I'd go with Dubois. But because Dubois has quit the way he has, I think the safer bet is fight not to go to distance. In a parlay, you're only sacrificing minus 110 to minus 185 in a parlay. If it's a single bet, I'd go with Dubois, sink or swim.
I think the Dubois quit narrative, I think that can be put to bed now. I think he's been through. That was a learning experience. I think I give him the benefit of the doubt that he's got. I know some people will say once a quitter, always a quitter. I think he's shown. He just seems a different human being. He's got some swagger about him. I think potentially he's overconfident about who he is, which could be a problem. But I just think the concern.
He's looking past Parker, really.
Yeah, he is.
Past him.
He really is. But for Parker, so there were rumors 6 months ago that Parker was weighing 280 pounds, 20 stone. I was like, Joseph Parker, 280 stone, 280 pounds. That's great. So again, just in this week's research, apparently he's coming in a lot lighter than that. So I think he does not want to be 280 pounds in this fight. He needs to be moving. He needs to be.
How long ago was that? Has he had to lose the weight fast?
No, not recently. I think it's been like the strategy has been for some time to not get that weight. But he put that on. I don't even know if it's true, but a lot of people have said he was 280 pounds like 6 months ago. Okay, so he deliberately got bigger, but for him to put it all on to then take it off seems curious. But I don't like the idea of a 280-pound Joseph Parker. This will be a fascinating weigh-in fight, actually. Of all the ones, we haven't discussed the weigh-ins, but I want to see the weigh-in. I want to see what both guys look like.
Well, we might do another. We may do another.
We could just change all. We could change all of these, reverse them. But yeah, so the poll is 50-50. You're pretty strong guns ahead on Parker, on Dubois, and I think it's going to be a cracker. Can't wait.
But you said he was 280, and that he lost that weight. We don't know how long ago it was that at least the rumors were about that, and all that stuff. But I have a question to ask you. I know this is a lot of boxing fans buy into this. A lot of boxing fans don't. But have you seen any recent pictures of Joseph Parker? Have you seen him recent, Parker?
No. So
the reason why I ask is not for weight. I'm asking about his beard. He was wearing a Tyson Fury beard before going into the fight. And to me, that shows doubt about his chin against Dubois. And that's why I'm asking.
Well, I think if he's got a beard in training camp, I think it's very different to having that beard during fight week. Like if that's gone now, Parker doesn't seem to be. I think Fury, no matter how confident he presents, does have inner demons about.
Yeah, I do too. I agree with you.
I don't think Parker's that guy. I think Parker's he comes from this, these New Zealanders. They're built different to a lot of people. I think, the way he went about though, he was a massive outsider against Wilder and Zhang, and he just took those on like it was. He fought those fights like he was the favorite. I don't think he's got any issue. I don't worry. I don't think he's going to be bearded up in fight week. I don't think he's going to be 280 pounds. I think we're going to see a fit-looking Joseph Parker.
I like Joseph Parker. I'd like to see him win. I think he's worked hard. He's fought the best, but I just, gun to head, I don't think he's going to.
Yeah.
But I'd love to be wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. I have very, very little confidence in picking him. It's very much based, and I just think the market has just moved a little bit too far on the Daniel Dubois train. I was like, hold on, let's just wind it back a bit. And that is doing a lot of the logic for me picking Parker to come through on points in my parlay, which leaves us with the main event.
Well, I'm ready for it. I love that the card is so amazing. I can't believe all these fights are on one card. These are normally the type of fights that we analyze week to week, month to month.
I know. And so it's funny. It's almost ironic that we have such a rich card. Oh. And what that has led to is the opinions of all the people sort of that we know in boxing. It feels like nobody's got a strong opinion on any of them because there's just so much going on here. Like when you've got one main event that everyone's excited about, everyone can have their 100% confidence opinions. With this, everyone's like, oh, there's just too much going on. Anything can happen.
Oh, yeah. Anybody who says, oh, this fight, no, I knew this guy was going to win. Yeah. It's not true.
No, exactly.
It's not possible. And that's why this card is such a big card, because nobody really does know.
Okay, so Better Biev and Bivol rematch is one of the fights where I will be betting on a market that I do like the look of, and I will have a serious bet on it.
Yeah, to explain that?
Yeah, so it's odds on. So what I think I'm going to do. So first of all, I like Bivol's chances, and I people say in rematches back the same result again. In my mind, the same result again is Bivol winning again. So I'm happy to back him to win the fight. The odds on the KO are 10-1, which I think is incredibly tempting. But I think it's most likely that he wins the decision. What I think is even more likely is that even if Beterbiev wins the fight, he's not going to win it by stoppage. And people are saying, "Oh, better Biev would have learned more. He'll be more aggressive. He'll put the, he'll do more early on, and he can get Bivol out of there." I disagree. I don't think he can get Bivol out. I think Bivol has learned enough to make sure that he doesn't get knocked out, knowing that he's survived the power once. So my bet of the evening for me, and it is not for everyone because it sounds terrible, is Bivol not to be knocked out at minus 200. So 1.5 decimal odds, 2-1 on fractional, minus 200. I'm saying Bivol will not be knocked out. Win, lose, or draw, he will not be knocked out.
Yeah, that's not a bet available. That's a beautiful bet. That's not a bet available in the States, but that's a beautiful bet. But so let me ask you just a couple of questions though on it, because I already know what I'm thinking on the fight, but I want to ask you just a couple of questions. Do you have any concern about the rate of work that Beterbiev does, and the judges seeming to quite often reward ineffective aggression? Because, but let me just say this before I ask you, and I'll let you. I just want to mention this one thing while it's on my mind. Because to be honest with you, I picked Bivol in the first fight, and I feel I was very happy with the pick. I thought he won 116 to 112.
Same.
I did. And I thought he hit him with the harder punches. I thought he won it convincingly. He didn't get it because Bivol was more active.
Beterbiev.
But Beterbiev was more active. These names, there's 15. Yeah. So, let alone their opponents that we're talking about. But so let me ask you something. What is your concern about the possibility of the judges rewarding activity over accuracy again? Because that's what I think happened anyway.
Johnny, I think that is the biggest problem in modern boxing, of judges rewarding ineffective aggression as if it's aggression and undermining. I've said it before a million times, but somebody said if these judges were around for Floyd Mayweather's career, he'd have 7 defeats on his record by now. But you know what I mean? He like just rewarding the back foot boxer with defensive skills and lower work rate. That's still boxing. It's hitting and not getting hit. And so I think it is absolute. The Bivol Beterbiev first fight last October was a fight where it made me change my approach to betting on boxing, because you can do you can do all the work and the assessment, and you can watch a fight. You can watch 36 minutes of the fight. I nearly turned that TV off before they announced the decision, because I was like, "Oh, it's he's won it, brilliant." I was like patting myself on the back. He's won. I'm out of here. And then they gave it to the other guys. Like, oh, okay. And everyone would say afterwards, in the week afterwards, that wasn't a robbery. Fair enough, it wasn't a robbery. And they would say, "Oh, it's what you like." I was like, "It's not what you like. There are 4 criteria to judging a boxing match," and so I don't think that was the right decision in the first fight. So when people say the same thing will happen in the rematch that happened in the first fight, I'm like, oh, okay, so Bivol will win the decision again. Then it comes to the judges giving him the decision or not. So the answer to your question is, I think potentially the same thing will happen, that Bivol will do enough but not get the nod. But again, that's why I'm taking the he's not going to get stopped approach to the bet. I also think potentially they always talk about a trilogy. I don't think that's such a big thing in this fight because of the age of Beterbiev. I think he's so old now, the trilogy's probably not got the appeal. And I also think there's potential that the judges will be aware of this allegation of awarding points to the aggressor, whether it's effective or not. And they might just think, hold on, it is the sweet science. Let's get back to judging boxing how we all thought it was meant to be judged. And they might reward Bivol for his work. They might overcompensate and give Bivol a fairer shake, not just a fairer shake, but like give him, more, overcompensate from what they've done before. So it's always a concern. it always affects my betting patterns because of that concern. But that's why I like the other bet. I'm taking Bivol outright to win at even money, definitely. But I'm also taking he won't get stopped at 2-1 on for that reason.
I love that bet. Yeah, even what did you say the odds are on that? -2?
-200, yeah, 2-1 on.
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't. There's no way, in my opinion, Beterbiev is going to knock Bivol out. Before I just give you my thing, I think one other question I want to ask you is, what are your thoughts about Bivol in a interview? I think we might have exchanged it, but
Yeah.
Bivol in an interview saying that he didn't think he needed to get the knockout to win the rematch. Do you think that means? Do you see? What do you see in that? Do you see it as a sign that he will be? He doesn't feel he needs to be more aggressive, or do you think he just thinks he needs to fight smarter and knows? I like it because I think it's saying I can pick my spots and do this anyway. But he did lose that fight very widely on scorecards that were ridiculous. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I agree with him. I think my scorecard had him 6 up after 6. I thought he swept the first 6, and yeah, 2 of them were close, but he still won them on my card. I think it felt like he had an unassailable lead by sort of 8, 9, 10, but obviously he didn't. But I think he's got enough to. He must know when 2 guys have shared the ring together, they kind of know what happened. And I think in that first 6 rounds, both of those guys know who is winning that boxing match. And even I don't often read too much in it, but even the reactions on their faces when in the aftermath of the fight, Beterbiev knew he got like the benefit of the doubt in that fight, and Bivol knew he was unlucky in that fight. So I think Bivol knows the adjustments. We always talk about adjustments. The adjustments that Bivol needs to make are not that big a deal. It's do what I did before, but just like don't be complacent that I've got enough of a lead to let it slip in the final third. And I think it's going to be easier for him to stamp his authority than it is for a 40-and-a-half-year-old Beterbiev to come on strong, to stop a guy that he knows he couldn't stop the last time out. So I think it's fine that he doesn't. I agree with him. If he went out there saying, I've got to knock him out to win, I'd be a little bit concerned about that. I don't think he does. I think he can get a fair shake.
He's been doing, from what I've seen on Twitter and YouTube, he's been doing, he is doing more strength training. I don't think it's necessarily for the knockout, but I think he's doing more strength. At least that's what they're selling it as. All I can go by is what I'm seeing. But he's doing more strength training for this. But I think that I was curious what you thought about that, because Beterbiev, I just didn't think he was. I very much disagreed with those scorecards.
Yeah.
The last time. So I was curious what you thought about that, because I think the fight's going to be great, and it might be more different than people think this time.
Right.
Because, I think. I don't know. I just feel so. Your pick in this one is Beterbiev not knocking Bivol out. I love that bet, and you're taking Bivol also.
So okay. I mean, I did like the 10-1 about Bivol by stoppage, but that is kind of that's a fun bet because it's a huge price. But I think. So I'll have a little bit on that, but my main thing will be the even money about Bivol to win at any time, and the main bet will be Bivol to not get knocked out. And I think that covers the controversial decision. I just think Bivol's got enough smarts to do 12 rounds with this guy.
Yeah, I did too. So for me personally, I think Bivol. I like Bivol again, as I did the last time. My concern has been. I watched it the last time. I thought it was a no-brainer after the fight, and it didn't come in. Bivol did everything I wanted him to, and it didn't come in. So in this fight, I think Bivol has the where I think Bivol is above Beterbiev is that I think Bivol can interchange a little bit and he can make more adjustments. Beterbiev is more of a one-note fighter. It's been a great note. Don't get me wrong. It's been a great note. But I think Bivol can make adjustments, and I think it's the fighter that make adjustments is the guy that you want to take in fights like rematches like this. So I would take Bivol in this fight. I would do it in a manner that I would take him to win outright. I would add on Bivol by stoppage with putting maybe 10%, as we talked about, maybe 10% of 50. I'll figure it out. But put a little bit on stoppage over Beterbiev, but that's the way I take it. I just think it's a great fight, but I do expect it to be a little different than the other one. I don't think it's going to play out the exact same way. My concern has been if it did play out the same way, I don't want to get the same results again. And I thought they were unfair. A lot of fans disagree, but that was my, that's just, my thought on it.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on Bivol.
A lot of people, there are people you respect and there's people you really respect.
Right.
The people are on that sort of, I don't know anyone who thought Bivol lost that fight, who I really would follow in blindly.
Me neither.
Yeah. So I don't mind saying that. And also, so in our poll, so we've got Bivol's 60% of the vote so far.
Really?
And
really? How did it have an ending?
50-50, decision or stoppage.
Wow.
Down the middle, yeah.
Well, so they got 60% Bivol and 50. That's interesting. So
that's very. I'm surprised at the stoppage, 50-50. When you, yeah. So, and the other thing I would add to the discussion is when the fight was announced so quickly, a lot of people were saying this is really good news for Beterbiev because he is getting old. He can go straight into the camp, and I think that's not good news.
Great point. I agree with you.
I think he had one camp that got injured and got postponed. He's had another camp and then the hardest fight of his life. And now he's gone into another camp. So he's had 3 camps back to back. I think he could look like an older version of himself on Saturday night. And I think the narrative that going straight into the rematch is a positive for him, I disagree with. I think that's a negative for him.
It's the fastest turnaround I think he's had in years.
Yeah, not the most active guy. So, yeah, the quick turnaround being positive, I don't buy that at all. So, but fascinating. And, yeah, again, so great, happy, not happy to be wrong, but of all the fights, this would be the one where I would say, right, yeah, I'm taking the upset again. I'm taking Bivol to upset the odds. This would be the one that I would take a bit more seriously.
I think, yeah, I would take Bivol in this one. The thing that's been interesting to me as far as the betting on Twitter is that the fans, it seems like most people in this are basically taking parlays. Have you seen that? Have you noticed that? I've just seen the guys all picking like 5, 6, 7 fight parlays, nice, rather than going for specific fights, which even if there are people picking specific fights, it just goes to show you how competitive these fights are. Brilliant. That so many people are going for the entire parlay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And, for me, the fight that I would go for out of this whole thing, the two I'm the most, I would say, and it's still not confident, but the most confident in, I think I would take Dubois, stoppage, and I think I would go Madrimov if I was going to pick 2 of them. I mean, I'm eliminating Shakur because he's minus 12, and I think the other those would be my 2. But when I see confident, 53 to 47, you know what I mean?
Brilliant. Well. So that's okay. Interesting. So Dubois and Madrimov and So mine would be, I think I said, Boazzi and Stevenson. A bit easier. Yeah, but Bivol as a single, just taking one bet on its own. I like the bit more chances. So if my picks I've got, like I said at the start, I'm getting all my picks to win on points, win decisions, seven in the parlay. If I get the right winner over the 12 round, over the decision, they're all 12 rounders. That sevenfold parlay pays 1,300 to 1. So,
wow.
So yeah, have a that'll be a fun Sunday for me.
Oh yeah, boy, man, it's amazing. With in a thing like this, you can't at this point. You've already printed it. That you thought about it. You can't not make a couple of those. You can't not.
Oh no, I've got to do it now.
You have to. And yeah. I love the other bets that you're making. I'm not as sure what I'm going to do, but I'm staying really low here. These are 50-50 fights for a reason. But I just love trying to pick them and see what the thing is. It's just so much fun. Yeah. And there's such exciting fights, and I think it's such a great card. I mean, this is historic.
It is crazy. It's actually been it's been too much work to do the due diligence to actually put the full research into all of these fights. So I reckon between now and the weigh-ins, I might be on the phone to you going, "Hey, Johnny, we need to reshoot this because I've got some other ideas we need to go."
Yeah, well, no, we could definitely do the weigh-in like we did for the Usyk Fury thing. I'll be around for that, but definitely but these fights, the weigh-ins could play a part. Somebody that we have a little questions on. Out of shape, overweight. There's a lot of things that go on. More confidence. There's a lot of things at the weigh-in. Even if we did a short one, we might think about it. Just something to think about.
My weigh-in prediction will be that everyone is going to start supporting Adamez more than Shiraz. They're going to like what they see in Adamez. I bet you that happens at the weigh-in.
Oh, that's a good. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah,
that's my weigh-in prediction.
I wonder if that'll affect the odds by fight time.
We'll see. All right, Johnny. Yeah, let's do that then. Let's watch the weigh-in, pencil in a catch-up after that.
Okay.
And then, but that's brilliant. All right, we've done an hour and a half, or over an hour at least. All right, Johnny, brilliant. Love that. And
great talking to you, as always. And I really can't wait for this card.
Me too. Not long now. It's here. And more important than the card, I want to know who sent you that Mike Tyson T-shirt.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, but check it out again, man. We're talking major stuff. Nice and hairy, stretchy.
The thing is,
beautiful
Johnny,
stuff.
Like you wear it ironically. I would wear it with pride. So I'm a little bit upset. I didn't get that.
No, I'm wearing it. Listen, I'm a boxing fan, so Iron Mike Tyson was part of boxing. I like that. But I know it was sent to me for a joke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind wearing the T-shirt. He's Iron Mike Tyson. But, you know my feelings. Like that.
I had so you've been on the Boxing Bug, the podcast I do about boxing people that I interview. I had a guy lined up for 2 days' time, and I've put a few posts out where some people have been anti-Mike Tyson, and just by association, I don't know if that's why he's blocked me, but he's blocked me. I was like, what? He was very friendly to me. He wanted to come on the show. And since in the last few days, he's seen a few Tyson posts that have been not pro-Tyson, and he's now blocked. Not a word for cancellation. He doesn't want to just outright block. And I think it's because I was anti-Tyson. So I get people blocking me, not coming on my podcast. You get nice T-shirts. I want more T-shirts.
There's a big difference. People blocking you, beautiful T-shirt, right?
I'd rather get T-shirts than blocking, but hey, maybe
the people that are like feel that way. Tyson. It's a very funny thing, but Tyson supporters are staunch and they love him, and the people that don't, they don't like him. I feel that I'm truthfully. I feel like I'm in the middle.
No. Hold on, Johnny. You are not in the middle. You are very much in the I am in the middle. You are not pro Mike Tyson. I would say you are anti Mike Tyson.
Well, I'm wearing a shirt though.
I know.
So I gotta say I'm in the middle.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's
No, I'm in the middle as far as Mike Tyson. I don't think he's a great, but I'm in the middle in the sense of I'm not like a guy that's going to stop following somebody, or that type of thing. Really extreme behavior.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of those people online that are really extreme. So, like with Tyson. Another one, Tyson's fans and Canelo's fans are very strong too.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. No, it's Mike Tyson's the Mike Tyson's the holy grail of
yes.
Yeah, just cult-like fandom, but it's all good. And we shouldn't be finishing this amazing card talking about Mike Tyson. So hopefully we'll find out who the Valentine's Day gift was.
Somebody's got to get to me sooner or later. So
I can't wait to find out.
I'm asking. Let me know. Just let me know. Because I think it's just great.
Yeah, no, I love it. I am jealous. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, my friend. It sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.
Cheers, Johnny.
Bye. Bye.